My name is Kaja Ramey, and the topic I have chosen for my health campaign presentation is Black maternal mortality in the United States. So let's start off with a couple of questions. Number one, which country in the world do you think has the highest rate of maternal mortality? A, Sierra Leone, B, the United States, or C, Yemen? Question number two, which one of these developed countries do you think has the highest rates of maternal mortality? A, Canada, B, United Kingdom, or C, the United States? And for the last question, within the United States, which demographic of women do you think dies most often during childbirth? A, Black women, B, Asian women, or C, white women? Okay, so for the answers, question number one, the answer is Sierra Leone, a country located in West Africa. And in 2015, they had approximately 1,360 deaths per 100,000 live births. Answer number two, the answer is the United States. The same year, in 2015, we had approximately 14 deaths per every 100,000 live births. And for question number three, within the United States, which demographic of women do you think dies most often during childbirth? The answer is A, Black women. So for this campaign, the target audience will be healthcare providers, and specifically nurses from the 4 Arizona universities who will be graduating within the year. So that includes ASU College of Nursing, GCU College of Nursing, NAU School of Nursing, and U of A College of Nursing. There will be even more of an emphasis on the nurses choosing to go into obstetrics and gynecology. Eventually, the goal would be to have the audience be larger and include all graduating nurses across the country. This is the chosen audience because as nurses, you have a very key role within the healthcare team because you spend more time with the patient than any other healthcare provider. Maternal mortality. The CDC defines pregnancy-related death as the death of a woman while pregnant or within 1 year of the end of a pregnancy, regardless of the outcome, duration, or site of the pregnancy, from any cause related to or aggravated by the pregnancy or its management, but not from accidental or incidental causes. So reasons why this is occurring can be due to multiple different reasons, including hemorrhage, sepsis or infection, thrombotic pulmonary or other embolisms, cardiovascular conditions, or other non-cardiovascular conditions, though cardiovascular conditions is the issue that occurs most frequently. As we just discussed in relation to maternal mortality rate around the world, Sierra Leone is ranked number 1 out of all the countries for highest rates, and the United States is also ranked number 1, but when comparing mortality rates among other developed countries. Even though the number of deaths the US has in comparison to Sierra Leone is significantly smaller, there is a statistic that is still shocking. Within the United States, Black women are 2 to 3 times more likely, depending on where they live, to die during childbirth, compared to white women. Even when comparing other variables like age and education level and income, every single time Black women are dying at a significantly higher rate. Also, Black women are having cesarean sections, which are considered to be pretty invasive procedures, in emergency and non-emergency births, also at a higher rate. And for a while, there were theories that maybe this high rate of mortality had a biological link. But studies have now shown that when looking at other similarly developed countries, such as Canada and the United Kingdom, women of African descent in those countries are not facing these same issues at these high rates that the women of African descent face here in the United States. which shows that this isn't solely a biology issue. One of the issues that has been linked to this crisis is implicit biases within medicine and how it negatively affects people of color when trying to navigate the healthcare system. So a study conducted in 2016 discovered that more than half of first and second year medical students believed Black people experience less pain than white people due to believing Black people had tougher skin than white people. Also, a Pearson's nursing book, which is used as a learning resource for plenty of students, when discussing the topic of cultural differences in pain, stated that Blacks often report higher pain intensity than other cultures, and that they believe pain and suffering is inevitable. The section also discusses multiple other cultures in completely inaccurate and racist ways. And though this book was met with backlash and Pearson ultimately removed it and apologized, that was after 3 years of it being available for people to read. And for the people who were not informed that this information was incorrect, they now have these views in their head and will be responsible for a patient's care, so the damage may have already been done. Many Black women, even including Serena Williams, have come forward to shed light on their own deliveries and how they felt like they were being dismissed by healthcare providers when they tried to explain that they were in a lot of pain or that something wasn't right, only to be correct and very close to something life-threatening happening to them while in labor. Ideas like these only hurt patients in the end. So ways you as a nurse can help. Firstly, by just taking the time to be educated on the topic. Second, listen to your patients, especially when in labor. If they feel like something isn't right, because though we may be healthcare professionals, women ultimately know their bodies pretty well and know when something really doesn't feel right. Number 3, trying your best not to be biased is the best way to treat a patient. Number 4, bring attention to the crisis and educate and inform others. That's ultimately what will make a difference. If people know that something is wrong, they can start to fix it. So these have been some other suggestions that have been suggested to decrease the mortality rate. Incorporating doulas and midwives into the birthing team and the birthing plan, just to have more resources and more help. March of Dimes also have been huge advocates and have been trying to pass bills for the last couple of years on maternal mortality and death. The Black Mamas Matter Alliance, their main goal is to advocate for Black maternal health, and they hold conferences and they advocate for research and they fund research. So yeah. Evaluations. So our goal with this campaign is over the next 10 years to decrease maternal mortality rate, especially within the Black community, where rates are the highest, by educating new nurses about the health crisis and encouraging them to advocate on behalf of their patients. So we'll be reaching our goal by surveying the United States maternal mortality rates every 2 years and making adjustments where needed to ultimately do our best to eliminate this problem. And these are some of my resources. And thank you for listening.